In this video, I want to show you how I captured these photos, what settings I used, and how I processed them. Hopefully it'll be a bit of help to, I don't know, one or two. Let me know what you think. Last week, this car park was teeming with twitchers looking for the lesser spotted woodpecker. I literally parked my car, walked past these trees, looked up and took a couple of shots, and I got it straight away, which was nice. They weren't that good shots, to be honest. The bird was right in the middle of the tree, so I did have to crop in quite a bit, but nevertheless, I managed to get a photo. Morning, I'm at Middleton Lakes again, and according to the weather, I've got about an hour before it starts raining. But at the moment it's blue skies, so fingers crossed they're wrong. I have looked at about 3 or 4 different weather forecasts, and they all kind of agree that, yeah, it's going to rain. So I'm kind of rushing round to see what I can get in the time that I've got. So not too much talking, but we'll crack on. So this is the heronry, and as you can see, the trees in front of you are quite busy with herons building the nests. I come and go over here most of the day this time of year, which is nice if you like herons. So here are a few shots that I've took of the herons so far this morning. Okay, this old barn and this old house actually belonged to Aston Villa Football Club, and this is where you see most of the twitchers in the morning and the photographers trying to get photos of the barn owl. It's normally around this kind of time that the barn owl is spotted around here, and I have got shots of it here before, but over the past few weeks I've managed to find a better spot where it kind of flies around me. So we'll go and have a look up there and see if we can see him. I don't know why, and I don't mean to, but I feel like I'm putting on a camera voice today. Excuse me if I am, but yeah, I don't mean to be. So this video really, I wanted to do a little bit different today. I wanted to kind of show start to finish on my photos, from what settings I use, what I'm taking photos of, where I am, and also the processing. So it's something a little bit different. It might be more useful than me just walking around talking to myself, boring you. You may get something out of it. Probably not. Well, I suppose the most important thing to talk about really, being it's a photography channel, are the settings that I use. Now, I've said this on some videos that I've done before in the past. I walk around with like a basic run and gun setting on my camera, which usually consists of a shutter speed of 1/2000th of a second. This I use because if there's any small flying birds that I happen to come across as I'm walking around, I can always get the shot and kind of still freeze some of the action. I keep my ISO on auto because, again, walking around trying to just grab a quick shot as it happens, I don't want to be messing around with ISO and missing the shot. I keep the white balance again on auto. I feel like when I go home I can always change that in processing. And my tracking, I don't really use tracking at the moment with the Sony A1. I just find that wide works really well. Wide obviously picks up what's front and centre of the image. So as long as I've got that bird in the centre of the frame, in front of anything else, it's going to focus on the bird. Now, I do use the bird, like the bird tracking, if you know what I mean, like the bird eye focus. And I kind of just generally stick to them kind of settings. I have got a quick button on the camera that I use to change the focus point to a small, so I can just hold that down and that changes from wide to center fixed. I haven't really had the need to use the tracking at the moment because the wide has served me so well. Back button focusing, yes, I do use it. When I got my A1, I swapped over to some settings that Mark, I don't know how to pronounce his name, is it Mark Gallia? He's a Sony imaging ambassador. You'll see some videos of him on YouTube. And I set my camera up how he suggested, and he was shooting, well, he shoots in aperture mode for birds in flight, and he sets his minimum shutter speed. And I have done that, and I have tried it, but I like my way. I shoot fully manual. Like I said, I can always change what I want to change if I've got the time. So I feel it's best to get the shot rather than miss the shot. And if you've got time, then you can improve it. Obviously, from changing down from my run and gun settings, I can either lower the shutter speed if I feel it's a bigger bird and it doesn't need that much shutter speed, that higher shutter speed. So in effect that will lower the ISO, or I can manually lower the ISO if I feel I can get away with it. Generally, noise doesn't really bother me that much because using Topaz or DxO Pure Raw or even Lightroom, you can get rid of pretty much most of the noise that you get in your images now. So I don't let noise and high ISOs bother me too much. Damn, just missed a buzzard in that tree. Actually, there he is, he's kind of coming back. Let's see if I can get a shot. Well, I didn't think I got any, but I had a quick look and I think I got one. He's gone now. He's gone over that way. But we're going on the bridge anyway, and on the bridge he's closer to where he is, so if he comes back I might get another shot. Another setting that I think some people might want to know, the burst rate that I use. I just use high. With the Sony A1, it does do 30 frames per second, but I find that too much, really. The high just does me, so I don't even need to go into high plus. So I normally keep it on the high, unless I really don't want to miss something, some really crazy action, I don't know. Like I'm really focusing on a bird taking off, a small bird, and I've had it in focus for a while. Then I might quickly switch over to high plus, but generally high does me fine. This little canal bridge is brilliant for the little birds on the edges. You always get people putting bird food on there, so they're always coming down all day long. And you can get some good shots of the birds coming in off the trees, if you're lucky and good enough. Aperture. Normally with this lens you need good light, and as I come out early in the mornings, it's never normally the best light for this lens, if you know what I mean, but I like that kind of light. So you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. So again, I always leave my aperture on something fairly low, because if you're shooting a bird and there's nothing between you and the bird, and normally the bird's a distance away anyway, a low aperture is going to be what you need anyway. Now I'm trying to make a beeline over to the other side of the lakes, because that's where I've been looking. I've seen the barn owl, and I've seen him as late as 9:30. I don't know what time it is, but I know it's still early. Oh, it's still only 7:30. So we should be over there for about 8 o'clock. So we'll crack on straight over there, and hopefully we'll get some shots of the barn owl. Well, look at that. For those that do come up Middleton Lakes, you will know that the lakes have been really high for weeks, well, for months and months and months now, with all the rain we've had. And I've actually forgot that there is kind of bits of land on that lake. It kind of shocked me at first. So that's kind of nice to see, because you'll get some waders back now, and it makes a bit of a change. Another setting that I may have overlooked, on the 200 to 600mm lens, the settings on the side of the lens. Now I keep it in autofocus AF. The range I keep on full. Optical steady shot I keep on. Now there are people saying you don't need it on when it's over this certain shutter speed, and I have tried turning it off and turning it on, and I really cannot see any difference at all. So I keep it on just in case I forget to turn it on if I turn it off, if you know what I mean. So I always keep that on. And the mode, I keep it on 3. I can't remember what each mode does specifically, but I know 3 caters for kind of erratic shooting, like all over the place. And that's what I do a lot of. I'm obviously chasing birds down and trying to follow them. So yeah, I keep it on 3. Now I've done pretty well from this location for the last 2 weeks, and I don't normally come over here, over this part. Well, I do, I walk past it, but don't normally stay, because I never have any good luck, because I always find that the birds are too far away. But one thing I noticed last week and the week before is that they kind of fly from this side, well, from this lake over to the lake over the river. So you kind of get them flying at you, so you can kind of get some nice head-on shots, like that, head-on shots. And also, I got lucky with the barn owl. He's got a box over there, and I think someone told me there's one down there. And he kind of flies between that field, over the river, and down there. So you kind of get him doing a circle round here. So the plan, or the hope, is that he turns up again today, and I can get some video footage. But it's a bit windy today. Well, in fact, it's a lot windier than it has been. As I said, I came up last week and did the same last week, and I managed to get a couple of shots, and also a few shots of what was it, a great white egret, but I didn't do any video work. So I'll show you the shots that I got last week now. Well, as much as I want to stand here and hopefully get another shot of the owl, I'm going to be honest with myself, and I don't think it's going to happen. A couple of reasons. One is that it's really windy all of a sudden. The weather did say that it was going to get windy, and it has really picked up over the last 10-15 minutes. Really picked up. And I don't know if owls like wind. I'm not sure. But if I was an owl, I wouldn't want to fly out in this. It's quite bad. So I don't think the owl's going to turn up anyway. And where I'm standing, I've got the wind blowing straight into my face, and it is cold. I've even put my gloves on, and I've just gone to get my woolly hat out the bag. But I remember that I took it out last night because I thought, well, I won't really be needing that much longer now. The weather's picking up a bit better, but I was wrong. So I'm going to give it 5 minutes here because not a lot's happening. Whether it's because of the wind, I don't know. And then I'm going to kind of walk around and hopefully get a bit of relief from this wind, because it is cold, and I've only got a t-shirt on underneath this. So 5 more minutes there, and I'm going to move on. Well, since that wind's kicked up, it's kind of spoiled everything. There's nothing about it. It's kind of scared everything off. I'm going to head back down this path and hopefully bump into some stone chats, because there's some stone chats on the side of this path down here. So fingers crossed I might get a couple of shots there. But apart from that, I don't think I've got any decent shots this week, have I? And I am going to go home because the wind's really picking up. It's getting grey, and standing over there by the river has absolutely froze me to bits. I should have put more than just a t-shirt on, really, shouldn't I? My fault. So yeah, look, we'll have a walk back and see what happens. Right then, that is it. In the space of about 10 minutes, it went from warm to really windy, cloudy and cold. I probably froze myself to death over by the lake over there, if I'm honest, standing into the wind, and now I'm really cold. So I'm going to give it 5 minutes around this lake, and then I'm going to head back, because it's not going to get any better. If anything, it's going to get worse. It's going to rain. And that's a waste of time. Nothing else is really going to go on. Is that the... No, it's not. I thought that was the owl, but it's an egret. Well, I was hoping he was going to carry on coming towards me, but he's changed his mind. Right then, so I'm going to head back. It's definitely raining now. I'm going to put all the camera away so it's easier for me to walk back. And for any little shots that do kind of happen that I managed to see, I haven't got to mess around putting the tripod down. So hopefully I've managed to capture a couple of photos, which I can go back home now and show you how I edit them. So back to my computer. If I haven't managed to get any good photos, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.